Hi guys, this is from Ovaniz, and today we are going over the fondant sculpting tools which we use to make fondant figures. Fondant figures that will take your cake from just impressive to a cake that everybody will say wow to, with portrait fondant figures copied from a picture. So first we're going to go over the names of the tools, and right after we're going to go into the details and show you detailed examples for some of the uses of the tools on portrait fondant figures. So first we have the Dresden tool and the veining tool, the small and large ball tool, the shell tool, we have the Exacto knife and the rounded knife, stitching tool, a small cutter tool, brushes, and the silicone taper tool. And now, of course, let's go into more detail and examples. So the first tool we'll start with is the Dresden tool and the veining tool. Now, this is one of the most important tools in the sculpting because we are using it the most. And we have two ends to this tool, the veining tool and the Dresden tool. It is a semicircle-like, and what we are using it for is to create indentations, lines, creases. And in this example, we're using the pointy side of the Dresden tool to create nostrils. Here we're using the Dresden tool to create indentations for the eyes. And in the next 20 seconds, you can see how this fondant becomes into a portrait fondant figure copied from a picture. By the way, if you would like to learn how to sculpt fondant figures like this, copied from a picture, you can find the link to the tutorial in the description box down below. Another use is to create lines and creases when we're making clothes. So as you can see from the examples, this tool is useful through all of the sculpting process, from the face sculpting to the body sculpting and the clothes sculpting. Next, we have the small and the large ball tool, and the large ball tool is useful to create facial indentations such as cheekbones, and the small ball tool is very useful when sculpting the ears. And here's an example for creating cheekbones and making an indentation at the facial area. Curious to see how this particular figure turned out? Let's take a really fast look on how it ended up. If you would like to know what kind of fondant we're using to sculpt our fondant figures copied from a picture, you can find the link to the best suitable fondant for sculpting in the description box down below. So next we have the shell tool, and it's mostly used to create line pattern. It creates uniform lines, and it's usually used for creating hair pattern. Next tool is the Exacto knife. Well, it's used of course for the obvious reasons. We use it to cut fondant and cut slits. I use both of the knives, the Exacto knife and the rounded knife, but the Exacto knife is more accurate and more delicate, and we use it to cut delicate slits like eyes and the mouth. So next we have the rounded knife, and it is as well has two sides. This is the rounded knife and a needle side. So the rounded knife is more dull than the Exacto knife, and it's used for opening, to help us open the eye slits, to help us shape the upper lip, as it doesn't cut the fondant as much as the Exacto knife. As you can see here, I'm using the rounded knife to create the upper lip. And in this example, I'm using it to help me to open the eye slits. And the pointy side of the rounded knife is used for creating, well, holes in the fondant, and I mostly use it to pick up small pieces of fondant and help them into their places. And in the next 20 seconds we can see an additional example of another portrait fondant figure. Next we have the stitching tool. It has two sides as well. One is really pointy for small stitches and one is a little bit larger for larger stitches, and we use it to create stitch patterns on the clothes. Next we have the small rounded cutter tool, and it looks like a very small pizza cutter, and we use it to create, well, of course to cut fondant, but in the clothes making and the fondant figure making we use it to create line pattern. Like if you need to make a lot of tiny lines, you can just roll over the fondant and it will create you perfect little lines. Next we have the painting brushes, and we use them mostly in the facial feature painting. So the most useful brushes are number 0 and 00. So for the thinner one we're using it to create the lines at the eyes, and the thicker one, the 0, is to paint the lips and etc. Of course, there are some other brushes we're going to use, some larger ones when we want to add some color, but those are the most useful. And last and not least, this is one of the important tools as well. This is the silicone taper tool, and it has a pointy, very soft tip, and we are going to use this one to create facial lines, such as shaping out the lips, shaping facial expressions, like creating creases and lines near the mouth. As you can see, it's very soft and very delicate, and it's very easy and very convenient to work with. So here in this example, you can see how we're using this tool to create and shape the bottom lip. So if you're interested in the sculpting tools we saw in this video today, you can purchase the Ovaniz sculpting tools in our website, and you have the link in the description box down below. And if you want to put those tools into a good use, check out our photo to fondant face sculpting tutorial, just like you saw in our examples and in the picture you can see right now. So thank you for watching this video. See you in the next videos. Bye!